Okay guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Para sa mga kababayan nating matagal na dito sa Canada, naging citizen na kayo. So, ano ang naging desisyon ninyo? Kayo ba ay nag-dual citizen pa? Or tuluyan nyo nang nirenounce ang inyong Philippine citizenship? That is one of our topics today dahil meron tayong pangalawa na related rin dyan. Alam nyo ba na bumaba raw ang bilang ng mga Pilipino na interesado o nagiging Canadian citizen? O, 'di ba? Interesting. Yan po ang ating pag-uusapan kasama ang ating suki, Attorney Lou Dangzalan. Hello, Lou. Welcome back.
Magandang araw.
Okay, wait. Let me put up our title. And of course, Attorney Lou's email is down there crawling throughout the entire episode. Unahin natin yung data. Okay, teka muna. Sa dinami-dami na mga Pilipino dito, 'di ba? Namomroblema pa nga yung iba na hindi sila makastay. Bakit kaya, Lou, according to this article, fewer immigrants are becoming citizens in Canada. And eto, merong per country ayan, na breakdown. Bumaba daw, okay, for the Philippines. Ayan. Ikaw mag-explain later nung paliwanag mo sa akin, Luno, how it happens, the number. So, citizenship rate nung 2011, 80.8% sa Philippines. Sa 2021, 10 years later, it's down by 28%, down to 52% na lang.
Right. Laki na.
What do you think happened? Is it more of, ayaw na maging, PR na lang sila forever for many of our kababayans? What do you think is going on?
Well, anecdotally, I will talk to people about it. Like, yung biggest hurdle is the cost. Kasi nung time na nag-apply ako, for example, ang binayaran ko nun was $200 lang to apply for citizenship. Noon. So isipin mo, in a family of 4, yung nag-viral, nothing beats a Jet2 holiday, diba? So for a family of 4, kung yung tinaas 400, 4 times 4, the $1,600 kagad yung tinaas, diba? Dun sa isang buong pamilya na yun. Kasi from $200 now, it's $600 plus dollars. Ang taas, diba?
600 plus.
So may cost barrier talaga. And I think there was actually a survey that came out na tinanong nga talaga yung mga newcomers. Hindi ko lang alam kung scientific itong survey na ito. Na yung pinakamalaking barrier talaga is cost. Diba?
I see. Okay.
Yun naman kasi pinupulot lang yung $600.
Yeah. But you explained to me earlier, paano ba natin, can you explain to us how this number is usually computed? Ang nasa isip ko kasi kanina, which Lou corrected me, no, na mali yung iniisip ko na, baka kasi mas marami ng Pilipino dito. And less people, as we know, it's more difficult to become PR. Akala ko ganun. Pero hindi pala ganun i-compute. Can you explain to us again?
So yung case mo dyan is like, sino ba yung eligible to apply for citizenship? Yung mga permanent residents, diba? Tapos makikita nila yung country of origin or country of citizenship na Philippines nga, India or China, na merong, nung time nung 2011, for example, 2011, 80% of permanent residents back then who are of Philippines origin ang nag-apply ng Canadian citizenship.
Okay.
In 2021, there were about 52% of permanent residents at the time who had country of origin Philippines who applied for citizenship. So it was a net decline of minus 28. Diba? So titignan mo yan accordingly dun sa proportion. Sa laki nga ng binaba. Pero meron din akong isang hypothesis na pinag-usapan nga natin kanina na itong mga 2011 kasi, ang population demographic ng Filipinos in Canada, more or less, mga nasa 300,000 people across the country. Ngayon, nasa mga 1 million na ang mga Pilipino sa Canada as of 2025. Diba? So in that regard, kung triangulate mo yung 2021, syempre, mga nasa 800,000 siguro yan, diba? Hindi pa naman mga, pero malaking number siya, diba? So, kung titignan mo siya by proportion, in absolute terms, ibig sabihin yung absolute numbers ng mga nag-a-apply, tumaas pa rin. Kasi dumami yung tao, di ba? Dumami yung pool. Pero yun nga, in terms of proportion na nag-a-apply ng PR, mas mababa, nasa 52%.
Okay. Apart from cost, what do you think is discouraging Filipinos from securing or applying for citizenship? Is it because maybe kapag ang PR ang nasa isip voting ability na lang naman ang wala, everything else you
May
get,
ganun.
all the benefits?
May mga ganong hanas akong naririnig na parang, ano pa bang makukuha ko dyan?
Oo.
Actually, remind ko kayo kung hindi naman siguro sa lahat priority yun na mag-travel, pero una sa lahat makakakuha ka ng Canadian passport na hindi mo na kailangan mag-apply ng visa for most places, di ba?
Oo.
Tapos complement mo yan kung magdudual citizenship ka from the Philippines. And I will say it now, there are countries where Canadians are required to get a visa na ang Philippines exempt. Diba?
Uy,
So, meron pa
okay.
rin power ang Philippines. So,
Ano yung
halimbawa
mga
kasi,
bansang yun? I wanna know. Totoo, hindi.
totoo. So, Indonesia. So, yung mga gusto mag-Bali, for
Oh,
example,
alright.
visa-free tayong mga Pinoy, diba? Sa Vietnam din. You don't need a
Oh.
visa. Although, Canadians can apply for an e-visa for both countries, pero $50 din yun, Mahal din, $50. So, kung magta-travel kayo, again, jet to holiday, 4 kayo, edi $200 yun, diba? Sayang din. So, may mga times na mas advantageous na gamitan ng Philippine passport. There was a time na ang Brazil dati required ang Canadians to apply for a visa to Brazil. Kasi si Brazil kasi gumaganti. Kung bibigyan mo
Oo.
ng visa requirement ng Brazilians, bibigyan nila kayo ng requirement to come. So, Canadians required Brazilians for a long time, so ganun ang ginawa. Tapos, Philippines, we don't require Brazil a visa. So, ang ginawa nila sa Filipinos, they can go to Brazil without a visa din.
I see. Okay, okay. And also, eto, lagi itong naririnig. I don't if it's an urban legend or ano ba
Mhm.
talaga. Yung iba, for dual citizenship topic na pala 'to, itong tatanong ko.
Oh, sure.
Sabi nung iba na Canadian na, "Wag ka nang bumalik, wag mo nang kunin yung Philippine citizenship mo." Dahil daw, if something happens to you somewhere in the world, hindi ka daw agad tutulungan ng Canada kung ikaw ay dual citizen. Yung may ganyan. In times of war, or if you get imprisoned somewhere.
Yeah.
Ano ba talaga ang katotohanan diyan?
Narinig ko na yan, oo. It's very interesting and thank you for the question. Sobrang useful i-dispel yung
Oo,
myths.
ano ba talaga?
Ang katotohanan dyan is Canada's ability to offer consular assistance to you as a citizen of Canada is limited only if you are in the Philippines.
Okay, okay.
Kung dual citizen ka kasi under Philippine law, you would be a Filipino citizen. Alam nila na dual citizen ka pero meron kang acknowledgement sa reacquisition mo ng citizenship mo, retention rather ng iyong citizenship na Philippine citizenship that is, na ina-acknowledge mo na Philippine law trumps Canadian law. Pero
Oh.
that only applies in the Philippines, 'di ba? So sa Philippines, halimbawa, maaresto ka, knock on wood, for a criminal offense. Usually kasi kapag ka na-aresto ka abroad, pwede kang dumulog sa embassy mo to seek assistance, consular assistance ang tawag dito. Pero walang power ang Canadian Embassy to assist you in the Philippines if something were to happen.
I
Pero
see.
assumption naman kasi dyan, dahil Pinoy ka, siguro naman meron kang mga kakilala na pwedeng tumulong sa'yo within the Philippines, di ba? Kung sakaling
Okay.
ganun man. Pero kung sa ibang bansa, halimbawa, nasa Israel ka, na for both Philippine passport and Canadian passport holder, visa-free, di ba? So, pumasok ka ng Israel gamit ang iyong Canadian passport. So, may nangyari, knock on wood. Halimbawa, may attack. Anong pwede mong gawin? Pwede kang humingi ng saklolo sa Canadian Embassy in Tel Aviv. And in fact, I would add, kahit na pumasok ka with a Canadian passport, hindi ka pababayaan ng Philippine Embassy. And
So both, you can benefit from both.
You can benefit from both. That's why when I travel abroad, Ina, I always carry both passports. Kahit na alam kong ginagamit ko lang madalas kung visa, obviously kung visa required ng Philippines, gagamitin ko yung Canada, di ba?
Okay.
Tapos, pagka nandun ako, kampante ako na if something were to happen, again, knock on wood, I can go to either embassy and seek assistance.
Oo. So
Diba?
yung notion na, naku, pag pumunta ako sa Canadian Embassy doon, sasabihin, ano ka din pala Philippine passport holder ka, hindi ka namin priority doon ka sa kabila. Yun yung notion.
Hindi.
Hindi totoo yun.
From the Canadian government's perspective, you are just a Canadian. They don't care about your other citizenship. So, kasi sa Canada kasi walang formal statute that governs dual citizenship. If you're a citizen in Canada, you're just a citizen in Canada. The only time na yung regulations they contend with dual citizenship is usually kapag ka British overseas national ka, BNO, or if you're a US citizen. Kasi fun fact, if you are a dual citizen of the US and Canada, tapos you travel to Canada, normally kailangan mo ng Canadian passport to re-enter Canada. But they actually allow you to enter Canada on a US passport alone. Pero kung dual citizen ako ng Philippines and Canada, kailangan ko ipapakita yung Canadian passport ko. Pero let's make it a bit more interesting. If I am a citizen of Japan and Canada, kasi Japanese citizens are visa exempt to enter Canada, di ba? They only need an electronic travel authorization. In fact, hindi ka nila papapasukin with a Canadian with a Japanese passport and an electronic travel authorization by air. Hindi ka makaka-board. Pero by land, pwede mong kausapin yung CBSA, they will let you in. Pero yun nga kasi, ang assisted dito is talagang from the Canadian government's perspective, you're only Canadian. They don't care about your other passports.
Okay. All right. At least alam nyo na, yung myth na yan na-address na, it's not true, okay? Basta you can seek assistance for both and you will be treated equally, okay? Walang discrimination porque ikaw ay citizen din ng Pilipinas.
In fact, I would add this as a final point. I want to hat tip and salute din kasi yung mga friends natin na nagtatrabaho sa Department of Foreign Affairs, sa Foreign Service Institute ng Philippines. Actually, they do a fantastic job considering how resource-strapped sila. Magaling sila mag-asikaso ng mga Filipinos overseas. Guys, we are a country of overseas workers. So, naturalmente na yung ating mga embahada abroad ay alam nila kung paano kumilos at magbigay ng assistance. Whereas si Canada, very well present, very well respected, sometimes, to be quite frank and honest about this, nagkukulang sa pagbigay ng assistance. Kasi hindi naman common na mas maraming Canadian sa labas. Mas marami pong Pinoy sa labas ng Pilipinas. Therefore, mas equipped po yung yung mga Philippine embassies. And mabilis silang kumilos, in fairness.
I remember you mentioned this to me before. When it comes to repatriation efforts, mas mabilis umaksyon at makarating yung mga eroplano or whatever na kung sino kailangang i-rescue sa anumang bansa. Mas mabilis ang Philippine consulates dyan. Okay. Ito na lang, Lou. Ito, yung double taxation issue. Okay? Isang concern din yan. Ano ba talaga? Kunyari, ikaw ay dual citizen, nandito ka sa Canada, and yet meron kong negosyo sa Pilipinas. How do the taxes work in that regard?
That's a good question. I would say consult with your tax accountant who is familiar with the double jurisdiction issues. Pero largely and broadly speaking, both Canada and the Philippines, they respect taxation by way of residency. Kung saan ka residente, doon ka dapat magfa-file ng taxes. Canada and the Philippines also have a tax treaty. Therefore, both countries respect the principle of no to double taxation. So sa isang lugar ka lang dapat nagtatax. Anong mangyayari kung halimbawa may business ka sa Pilipinas tapos nasa Canada ka residente? Kasi sa Pilipinas, merong mga sitwasyon na withhold, 'di ba, yung taxes, 'di ba? So in that situation, again, consult with a tax lawyer or accountant who is familiar with this. In that situation, kung ano yung tinax sa'yo sa Pilipinas, they are transformed into what's called tax credits for the purposes of filing your taxes in Canada. So mababawasan yung taxes na binabayaran mo sa Canada because of the tax treaty. Kasi hindi nga talaga pwede yung double taxation.
Okay. Siguro final point na lang, Lou. When you have a client, let's say, naging Canadian citizen na ako. Humingi sa'yo ng advice, okay? Should I pursue dual citizenship? Ano ba ang profile ng isang tao? Okay, which for you would be most beneficial na maging dual citizenship siya? Or on the other hand, na parang mukhang hindi mo naman kailangan maging ibalik pa ang iyong Philippine citizenship. Practical means lang ito Of course, isantabi natin yung magiging yung pagiging patriotic side na parang hindi ko kayang
Yeah.
i-let go ang Philippine citizenship ko dahil
Mas
Pilipino ako.
senti nga ako kaysa sa'yo, eh. Actually, ano yan, eh, kasi hindi lang kasi para sa'yo yan. Isipin mo rin yung mga generations after you kung
Yeah.
magpapamilya kayo at magkakaanak kayo. That is an option for them as well, hindi lang naman sa'yo. Kasi yung transmission of Filipino citizenship is by blood, di ba? So by not fixing your retention and reacquisition of Philippine citizenship, you are unnecessarily depriving your children Philippine citizenship.
Oh,
Kasi in the future, alam mo
who
yun, kung
knows?
who knows? Let's say na, maayos natin yung sitwasyon sa Pilipinas at gusto natin na mas malamig, ay mas maganda ang buhay na, alam mo yun, nasa tabi ka ng beach. Bakit hindi? Tapos sasabihin sa'yo ng apo mo, for example, Lolo, Lola, bakit hindi nyo inayos yung citizenship? 'Di ba? So,
Sayang. Oo.
hindi lang sa'yo yan eh. Yung heritage na yun is also for your descendants, 'di ba? So, bakit
Alright.
mo sila dinedeprive? Yun yung point ko. Kasi actually,
Good
point of
point. Yeah.
information, Italy and Spain, they have enacted laws that allow people from abroad, yung mga Spanish and Italian descendants, to retain and to reacquire their lost citizenships. Kasi nga, di mo alam. And then,
Yeah.
if ever in the future, mag-scenario build tayo, paano kapag sa ASEAN, halimbawa, nagkaroon ng parang European Union, very unlikely, paano kung nagkaroon ng mobility rights ang mga citizens of Southeast Asia, parang sa European Union, na pwede kang umikot. O gusto mong lumipat ng Thailand, for example, di ba, dahil may ka sa Pad Thai, bakit hindi, di ba? Kasi, but in all seriousness, it's not yours lang kasi, di ba?
Yeah.
To me, I see it as an act of deprivation to your descendants. So,
Alright.
kunin nyo. Sayang eh. Di ba?
Oo, fair point, fair point. Okay, ano pa? Sino ba ang makikinabang the most from
Well,
a dual citizenship? And yung tipong, practically speaking, okay na kahit hindi ka na kumuha ng Philippine citizenship mo.
So in terms of like reclaiming and retaining Philippine citizenship, paano kung yung family ninyo, you don't share a common passport? Diba? Hindi naman lahat Canadian passport, hindi naman lahat Philippine passport. Tapos sabihin natin, nagbabakasyon kayo abroad as a family, tapos something happens, magkakaiba passport nyo. Saan kayong embassy pupunta kung magkakaiba passport nyo, aber? Diba? So yung mga ganitong bagay, kailangan natin pag-isipan din na mabuti, lalo na napaka-unstable ng mundo ngayon.
Yeah. Okay. Yan Oh, guys. But of course, the ultimate decision is up to you guys. Mga buhay nyo yan. Just research. And yeah, I find this topic timely, no? Kasi baka lang, meron tayong ibang mga kababayan in the US especially thinking about itong issue ng dual citizenship. Kasi may proposal doon, di ba ngayon? Proposal pa lang, ha? Na parang ang gusto, mamili ka kung ano ba talagang gusto mong citizenship, yung Pilipinas o itong US. That's in the US, it's not happening in Canada. So, yeah.
Actually, nakita mo ba yung tweet ng presidente ng Colombia? Kasi final to bill ito from the Senate ng isang US senator who apparently is a Colombian ex-national. Parang basta Colombian heritage siya. So yung president of Colombia was like, ikaw, anong citizenship mo? Yun doon sa nag-file. So parang, ganun, may mga patama. So, yun nga, medyo contentious sa US. Sa Canada, anong implication niya? Well, guys, like, you're entitled to both. You should take both.
Yeah.
Diba? Ganun lang siya kasimple.
Okay. Ang alam ko rin wala, Luno, yung ibang kababayan natin, hinihintay na lang yung age na 55 years old ba yun? Para wala nang bayad nga dun sa...
Actually,
wala nang exam.
si Mama, yan ang ginawa niya, walang exam. Ayaw niya na mag-exam.
Yan.
54 naman siya nung time na yun. So sabi niya, sige na, maghintay na ako 1 taon. Naghintay siya 1 taon, naging $600 yung kanyang bayad.
Oh my.
Galit na galit siya. Sabi ko, huwag ka na magalit kasi 200 din naman dapat ang gagastusin mo sa language test, di ba? So parang ganun din.
Yung iba pala din, no, feeling ko natatakot sila baka bumagsak dun sa citizenship exam.
Mababa yung requirement, guys. Mababa yung language requirement.
Kayang-kaya nyo yan. Ang dami mga reviewers available online, free.
Correct.
Okay, tsagain nyo na lang. Minsan lang naman mangyayari. Okay, well, anyway, that is it. Thank you so much, Lou, for that, for this episode. Yeah, his email is down there crawling at the bottom if you want to get in touch with him. We will end this episode here. See you guys in the next one. Bye.